Hello, child of God. So this is the final part. This is part 4. This is part 4 of Are You an Adult? Are You Whole? So I was speaking. I spent quite some time speaking about isolation. That isolation is very important. The isolation will help you sit by yourself. Be by yourself, be with yourself, discover what you really want, discover what you want to do, without all the outside influences and then the outside distractions. It's very important. It's very important. You have to learn, you have to master the art of being alone, being with yourself. It helps you reflect, it helps you think deeper. And as I said in the earlier one, see, the spirit inside of you will start bringing things up and force you to think about them. In the place of isolation, you discover. If you want to discover who you are, what you are, one of the best places is to isolate yourself. If you want to get closer, you want to have a closer relationship with the Holy Spirit, you have to isolate yourself. A lot of the things that is distancing us from God is a lot of the distractions we have around ourselves. Some of you is family, some of you is the girlfriend, some of you is the boyfriend, and it's a relationship that the only purpose of that relationship and the only function that relationship is serving is opening the door and allowing you to have premarital sex. If you're in a relationship like that, you have to just come out. What is more important to you? Do you want to have a connection with the Spirit of a living God? If that relationship is not going anywhere and you've been in it for 2 years already and all you're doing is just having premarital sex, it's better to break it off. When God is even bringing two people together, two people he wants to put together by himself, God uses the same method. He isolates both of them. He brings them together. They come into contact, they recognize, this is the one, she's the one, he's the one, and he takes them apart again to isolate them and force them to work on what they are supposed to work on. God, this isolation thing I'm talking about, God is what God uses it. When God calls his prophet, he does the same thing. He isolates them so that they are able to know themselves, they're able to know, okay, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, I'm not good at this. A lot of things will come to you. But the issue is, a lot of people have not learned how to be alone, have not learned how to isolate themselves. And I've told you why you have to isolate yourself, so that you are comfortable in your own skin when there's nobody around you. If you have to be there for 2 weeks without any outside interaction, anybody coming here, your friends are not coming in, your whatever. If you're in the relationship, the person is not, you are able to be alone. You're able to make your decisions, you're able to get up, you're able to do what you're supposed to do, you're able to plan, go about, do what you're supposed to do and all that. People have to learn how to be truly single, truly alone. And I say an adult is whole, is being whole. And the reason why I'm talking about this and learning how to isolate yourself, and learning how to, when you isolate yourself and you are just by yourself, you learn how to love yourself. You learn how to love yourself. You learn how to, and one of the things that happens when you're in isolation is that it helps you review, critique yourself. It reveals to you what your flaws are, things you are not good at. It reveals it to you. And in the same time, in the same space, it also allows you to discover certain things that you are good at, some of the things that come to you naturally. In your place of isolation, one of the things the Holy Spirit does is what? The Holy Spirit starts replaying certain things that happened when you were growing up in your childhood that you have forgotten. Not that you've forgotten, but because your day is always busy, you are always busy doing stuff, you've not had enough time to be able to recall some of those things. You want to discover your some of the skills, some of the purpose, some of the things. Sometimes the Holy Spirit can remind you of some particular things you enjoyed doing when you were young, or something that you were very good at when you were young, but something happened, you've lost touch with that thing. The Holy Spirit will do a lot of things. This place of isolation, very important. And the reason why I'm talking about isolation, learning how to be alone, learning how to be whole and function as an individual, make decisions when without any outside influences, is that when God gives you the grace to talk about energies, it's going to be very important. Now, every human being you see walking out there on the streets, whatever, every human being you come into contact with is carrying a certain energy. Every human being you see out there, you come into contact with, is operating at a certain frequency. Now, if you see people who have allowed themselves, have isolated themselves, they've worked on themselves, they've done the work, they know where they are not good at, they know where they fall short, they know where they excel at. A lot of the time, it allows you to make a decision to see, okay, maybe my looks, God gave you good looks, but when it comes to speaking or your ability to speak or get ideas across, you don't do well. And so when some of these things will come to you when you come to the place of isolation, and you are thinking about yourself, thinking about your life, thinking about what you did right, what you did wrong, looking at your life the past 5, 10, 20 years, what you've done wrong, what you've done right, things that have repeated all these years. A lot of things will come to you. This place of isolation is like I would say is a review of your life, you see. And when you do it the first time and the second time, as time goes on, every human being is a requirement to make some time, some time in your life to always go over things and think about things, think about what is working, think about what is not working, how do I change it. It's like coming to the blackboard again to review. Okay, I said I was going to do this. I said I was going to change it. Am I succeeding? Am I failing? What do I do? What do I change? What do I twist? Okay, let me fine tune something and then try it again. It's very important too. I'm not sure this video is going to end. I'm not sure it's going to end on part 4. Maybe I have to continue. I have to do part 5, looking at where the thing is going. There's a lot of things I have to say, but the time is not enough. Every human being you're seeing out there walking in the world is operating with a certain energy, is operating a certain frequency. People who have mastered, built their core, people who have learned how to love themselves, a lot of people who have done the work, which is the isolation. You see, when you come into isolation, one of the things that will be clear to you, you are going to appreciate how God has made you. You are going to see areas you don't do so well. But one of the things it will allow you to do is to also see all the good things that God has put in you, has built you with, He has fashioned with this, with that. A lot of the times you realize that the positives in you is more than the negatives. What does that do? What does it do? It allows you to start appreciating and being grateful for how God has created you. Now, appreciation and being grateful for how God has created you is very important. Now, anybody who wants to be able to walk in or function in the gifts, talents, abilities God has given you, if you want to function in them, be appreciating how He has made you, being grateful for how He has created you, will allow you to walk in those things. Why? Because practicing and putting effort in appreciating and thanking God for how He has created you and appreciating how He has created you allows you, it starts building self-confidence inside of you. Watch for part 5.